Somewhere along the way, many of us quietly absorbed an idea that life has a deadline. Not a spoken deadline, not a real one, but an invisible one that sits in the back of the mind. By a certain age, we should have a stable path. We should feel settled. We should know what we are doing. We should be certain. And when that certainty doesn't arrive, something uncomfortable begins to grow. A sense of being late. It can show up in small moments. You see an old friend's update and feel a brief sting. You hear someone speak confidently about their plans and wonder why you still feel unsure. You look at your own life and think, I should be further by now. But further is a strange word. Further than what? Further than who? Further on which timeline? A lot of people don't talk about this pressure because it feels embarrassing, as if feeling behind is a personal flaw, as if everyone else received a map and you simply lost yours. Yet this feeling is far more common than we admit. And it doesn't mean you failed. It often means you're human living in a world that measures life with loud milestones instead of quiet meaning. Here's a gentle truth to begin with. Life does not move on a single schedule. Some people bloom early, others bloom later. Some find clarity in their 20s, others find it in their 50s, after they've lived enough to know what they no longer want. And if you are in a season where you feel uncertain, that doesn't mean you're behind. It may mean you are still becoming. We rarely talk about how much of life is shaped by timing, chance meetings, unexpected responsibilities, health changes, family needs, economic shifts, quiet struggles that don't appear on anyone's highlight reel. Two people can work equally hard and end up in very different places, not because one is better, but because life is complicated. And yet, we compare as if everything were simple. Comparison can make you feel late even when you're exactly where you need to be. It makes your progress look invisible. It turns your private growth into something you can't prove. But real growth is often invisible. Sometimes it happens beneath the surface. You learn to pause instead of reacting. You learn to choose peace over proving yourself. You learn to walk away from what drains you. You learn to say no without guilt. You learn to listen to your own mind, not everyone's expectations. These are not small things. They are the foundations of a meaningful life. And they rarely happen on a neat timeline. A lot of people look like they arrived early until you learn what it cost them: exhaustion, restlessness, a life built for approval rather than alignment. Many people achieve impressive things and still feel empty because they never asked what they truly wanted. So when you tell yourself you are behind, ask this gently: behind which version of life? Behind the version that looks good from the outside, or behind the version that feels honest on the inside? Because if you are becoming more honest, more selective, and more aware, you are not behind. You are moving in the direction of depth. And depth takes time. There is another reason the feeling of being behind becomes stronger with age. You begin to see time more clearly, not in a frightening way, but in a truthful way. You stop assuming there will always be later for everything. And that clarity can create pressure, the urge to catch up, to rush, to force things to happen. But forcing rarely creates peace. If you are building a life that you can actually live inside, you need more than speed. You need stability. You need a pace that doesn't break you. You need decisions you can stand by when the excitement fades and real life returns. This is why slow can be wise. Slow doesn't mean passive. Slow doesn't mean giving up. Slow means you are choosing sustainability over performance. It means you are willing to take one clear step instead of 10 anxious steps. It means you are willing to build quietly without constantly announcing progress, without needing applause, without turning your life into a competition. Because some of the most important changes are subtle. They are internal shifts. They are small routines that reshape a mind. They are quiet boundaries that protect your future. And if you are in a season where you are rebuilding emotionally, financially, mentally, that is not falling behind. That is doing the work many people avoid. Rebuilding is brave. And brave things often take time. So instead of asking, how do I catch up? Try asking, what would make my life feel more aligned? Alignment is a calmer goal than success. It's not loud, it's not urgent, but it lasts. The world often rewards urgency. It celebrates speed, big announcements, quick transformations. But most real transformations are not quick. They are made of repetition, of returning to what matters again and again. And here's something people don't say enough. There is no prize for arriving early if you arrive disconnected from yourself. You can win the race and still feel lost. You can meet every milestone and still feel like you're living someone else's life. That's why so many people, later in life, start over. Not because they failed, but because they finally got honest. They finally stopped performing. They finally asked the questions that require maturity to face. What do I actually value? What am I tolerating that is slowly draining me? What would I choose if I weren't afraid of judgment? What kind of life feels peaceful, not impressive? These are not small questions. They are deep questions. And deep questions tend to appear after enough living. So if you are in a season where you are questioning everything, it doesn't mean you are behind. It may mean you are waking up. And waking up is not a delay, it is a beginning. You are not late for your life. You are arriving to it. Maybe not with noise, maybe not with fireworks, but with clarity. And that is powerful. So if you've been carrying that thought, I'm behind, let's hold it more gently. Maybe you are not behind. Maybe you are simply on a different timeline than the one you were told to follow. Maybe your path isn't meant to be fast. Maybe it's meant to be honest. And honesty often takes time because it asks you to let go of who you thought you had to be. If you are moving more slowly these days, that might be wisdom. If you are more selective, that might be maturity. If you are protecting your peace, that might be growth. You don't need to prove your life to anyone. You don't need to rush to meet someone else's expectations. You only need to take the next clear step, the one that feels steady, the one that respects your energy, the one that helps you live with a little more calm and a little more depth. Because a meaningful life is not built by panic, it's built by presence. Take a breath. You are not late. You are not behind. You are still becoming. And that is more than enough for today.